Please welcome to the stage CreatorIQ CEO Chris Harrington.
A question to start today. I need you to think about it for a minute. Where will your brand be in 10 years? Where will your consumers be? Where will they get their information? Who will they follow? How will they reach you? And how will you reach them? And what are you doing today to prepare for this? A little perspective on the scale of where we work and live today. During my 20 minutes on stage with you today, this is what will happen across these platforms. 106 million posts in the next 20 minutes. 17.4 million hours of content consumed on YouTube. To put that in perspective, that is watching the movie Titanic 5.4 million times. So with so much activity going on, it's easy to get lost in the noise. So the question is, how do you stand out? Now, since the beginning, brands have worked to try to create that authentic connection with their consumers. Connection that resonates, connection that's actually relevant and ultimately drives into revenue. Now, speaking of connection, I'm obviously new here. I'm 4 months old, even though I've grayed out a lot. So I want to take you on a bit of a journey with me to help you understand me a little bit more. Already got emotional. I need that shock collar, Britt. This is my beginning and my end. This is my family, right? I'm not going to spend a great deal of time going through all of it because I could spend another 2 hours just in a keynote on this. But growing up, I kind of grew up in rough circumstances. I won't go all into that because you guys will need therapy when we're done. But I spent a couple years in foster care, et cetera, and all I wanted was this. So let's walk across the group a bit. Left to right. Left is my second oldest, my transgender son Oliver's life partner, Sage. So next to Sage is Oliver. Oliver's a warrior. Oliver works with youth in the LGBTQ, helping prevent them from committing suicide. Next is Hunter. Hunter's my youngest from my first marriage. Hunter's 24. He's a sales professional. He's into his first year at Gong as a sales executive. He's 200% a plan, so he's going to be able to loan me some money soon. So he's got to pay me back for some stuff. Next to Hunter is his wife, Abby. In the middle is my oldest, Jessa. Jessa's a very successful businesswoman. She's built an entire clothing brand, and she's made two critical choices in that journey. First choice, it's all online. It's all through social. Her second choice was it's all size inclusive. Jessa's business is 6 years old, and while I don't have the numbers from last year, from 2023, she did $15 million in sales, all of it through social media. Her first year on TikTok Shop, she did $8 million. You cannot do that anywhere else. Below Jess are my grandbabies. On the left is Jazz. Jazz is everything cars. On the right is my birthday twin. So on my 50th birthday, my wife bought me a lot of great things. And then Jessa came in and swept it and said, I'm going to outdo you on the gift side, and gave me my first grandson. Next to that is obviously me. Then my wife, Angie. The answer to the question you have right now that you're not asking is, it's because I'm funny. That's why she's with me. So I'm clearly outrunning my coverage on the look side, so it's amazing. Next to Angie is my oldest stepson, Rome. Rome is not only physically a giant, Rome is an emotional giant, an incredible athlete. And next to Rome is Cole. Cole is the heart of the family. He feels everything. And he's also a very successful athlete. In the middle is my youngest. And what's interesting about life isn't, there's a lot of books about life, things you can do, but what life teaches you so much while you're going along. So if you go back a little bit, before I talk about heart, Sage and Oliver have been together for almost a decade. Sage is autistic. You go to Hunter's wife, Abby. Hunter and Abby have been together for about a decade as well. And she's a trained speech pathologist teaching autistic children how to speak. Hart, our youngest, was born 10 days before I turned 50, which is biblical. That's a late age of birth. But Hart has autism. And so he's the glue of our family. He brings us together, and he is the heart of everything. Now, let's move over to some professional stuff. And I won't go through my entire career because that's a boring, you can read LinkedIn. But on the digital marketing transformation, I've been in some very meaningful times, right? In 1999, we were with a company where I put out the very first rich media player. So think about this 3D content, flash, etc. It was amazing. It was an AOL. None of you were here during AOL, so you got to Google that, but it was an old service. So a year later, I joined a company called Rich Effects to bring virtual shopping environments to online. Too early, too animated. 2002, I joined the very crowded web analytics market. We were in a 40-way tie for 4th place, but we figured out how to unlock the cookie. Now, I know cookie's a swear word today, but it provided CMOs and marketing practitioners the ability to have analytics in real time. Now, all of these are transformational moments on the digital journey, but I would argue that today, they pale in comparison with where we're at today. So let's look back 10 years. Where were we 10 years ago? Some content from 10 years ago. Here in a moment, I'm going to probably try to do one of the Ellen moments. I'm going to try to do a selfie, and just like Ellen was mocking Brad because of his arms, my wife always has to do them because her arms are twice as long as mine. But Facebook was the #1 app, 1.4 billion users. Snap was the fastest growing, 700 photos a day. iPhone 6, that was what I called the butter phone. Very smooth and fell out of my pocket all the time, got crashed a bunch. Venmo was not a verb yet. And TikTok did not even exist 10 years ago. At the time, influencers, they weren't, your access to influence was usually through blogs. A few of my favorite. Obviously, the Fashion Fuse was my favorite. I loved her so much, obviously married her, so that worked out. But that was the avenue primarily back then. And in Los Angeles, Igor Vax, our founder, was being called out of early retirement after he had just retired as being CTO of Experian because he had an inspired idea. How do I create a platform that allows marketing practitioners to connect authentically with their consumers, leveraging the value of creators? So, everyone in this room, you've just heard Connor talk about the scale of what you do. That's phenomenal. Over the past decade, you've led the next wave of social media transformation, where news feeds became the norm. And now, as things start to change, influencers emerged and converged with these social media platforms. Brand spend continued to largely be tied specifically to their own content and paid content. But their calories continued to move, their time and energy moved closer and closer in meaningful ways to the content creators, as influencer programs became the undeniable and exclusive bridge to many of these consumers. Now, with the explosion of so many channels, creators have become, again, the only feasible way to get access to these consumers. Where are they? Why are they there? You can reach them all the time in their mindset, in context of what they're doing. And the consumers have responded very overwhelmingly. They prefer to hear from people that they follow, people that they trust, people that they feel they have an authentic connection to, over hearing directly from you as a brand. If I go back and I think about my time with my wife as a creator, I've watched as brands have brought her programs and projects, and some of them I'm like, hey, the math's good, we should do that. But her whole point is, when she looks at them, she'll reject them because it takes her off of who she is. And we have to remember that as brands, as agencies, as partners, that authenticity is what we're getting into. Now, don't just take my word for it. Everything continues to be up and right. This is Google search traffic, 29x the volume for influencer marketing. And the Influencer Marketing Manager landed itself in the 2024 LinkedIn's top jobs in the USA, one of the top 25 jobs of growth in the USA in 2024. This chart's a little busy, so I'm just going to walk you through it, right? The blue is magazine, television, radio, and the red is influencer marketing. Everything continues to go down. You can see over the last few years, if you normalize for some of these peaks and valleys, it starts to level out a bit for some of that. But watch influencer marketing, it continues to grow. And I would argue we're just getting our sea legs under us with where we're at here today. Creator marketing investment continues to skyrocket. We're showing you that the increase in spend is up 143% over the last 4 years. 74% year on year, last year 55%. And when you look at the enterprises alone, it's 80%. Now, some brands, some really powerhouse brands that have embraced this real early, I would say like L'Oreal, Lululemon, Deciem, Nordstrom, Media Monks, they continue to outpace their competitors, and they're growing across every category with that. On average, spending 299% more on influencer marketing. The question's why? And here's why. Busy chart, just look to the left. If you're trying to get access to Gen Z and millennials, they are getting access to information and interest that you need from them in the consideration process. They're getting it primarily from influencers. That's why you're spending the time here. Another busy chart. Print, radio, television, desktop, and mobile. The orange is time spent. The blue is ad spend. Everything continues to be compressed with the exception of what's happening on mobile. Everything. We believe the gap right now on the mobile side, that represents a $7 billion opportunity in today's world that we've got to go to accomplish. So I'd argue we've hit an inflection point. This is where creator marketing is starting to outpace and outdistance what we've seen in social media marketing. We've been able to do in 5 years what it took them a decade to do. 207 million creators worldwide, 21.1 billion in spend on this side. And when you layer in the phenomenal growth that is going to be coming from the AI, it's atrocious in terms of how much money is going to be spent here. So again, creator content, it works better, and it works better everywhere. So my question to you, content is now king. If you start to look at a few things, we believe that content is the atomic unit of brand growth. We've seen that some of the algorithms, that right now, your audience count is no longer the key indicator of your success. It's the quality of your content. And there's massive upside to all of this. For Fortune 500 companies, right now, we're seeing that they have 32 times the post count by leveraging creators. 17 times the impressions, 12 times the engagements. Industry leaders that we've talked about, 98% drove more ROI through this channel than anywhere else. Yet only 42% of that use this content in their own media. That's a missing opportunity. I think we should leverage that. So, with this, what's the challenge? There's a lot ahead of us. It's complicated. So with this big this big opportunity, there's massive responsibility for us. There's risk. There's complexity. There's measurement and data needs that we've got to figure out. And the overall just infrastructure for us to be ready to meet this opportunity. I would argue, it is content first and creator led. We are building for the future. I want to bring on stage with me our Chief Product Officer, Bhavin Desai. Bhavin's going to take some time, and excuse the expression, he's going to show you a little leg in terms of where we're going with the product. So with that, Bhavin, join me on stage.
Thank you, Chris. So as Chris said, the landscape is changing massively right now. All of those typical traditional methods of audience targeting, demographics, et cetera, are starting to be less and less effective right now. You're seeing how all of us consume content is changed dramatically, right? Like, when was the last time you actually went and looked at a list of followers and tried to go after it? It's AI recommended. It knows you better than you know yourself sometimes. So where is this all shifting? So all of this is really going down to the details at the content level. Those content level insights are really starting to become the predictors of success, right? So how do you solve for this problem when there's so much of this data out there, so much of these insights, and how do you know what to key in on to get to those points of success? So as we talked about already, the future is creator first and content led. The whole point of this is to make sure that we need a platform that evolves as quickly as your needs are evolving and as quickly as the industry is evolving as well. This is continuously growing. The amount of content is continuing to grow. The creators that you work with are continuing to diversify. The outcomes that are being driven are continuing to expand. And that's why we're here today to announce the next generation of the CreatorIQ platform that's focused on built from the ground up to be safe, seamless, scalable, and smart. So imagine for a moment that I'm a director of influencer marketing at a global athletic brand. This is the life that many of you live today. It's hard, trying to maintain and manage a community that's constantly growing, to make sure that everyone is brand safe, that everyone is aligned with your brand, and the content is on point and isn't going to cause you any risk or major PR issues. How do you then make sure that everyone is following the same standard? I need to have this work across multiple markets, regions, lots of different diverse sub-brands and regions as well. And I continuously need to grow this as well. I need to continuously show ROI. I need to continuously grow the amount of creators that are working with, grow the amount of content, and also distribute that content. So this is where we go. So starting with safety. With our discovery platform, I can make sure that I can find creators that are automatically brand safe, aligned with my brand values, and the content is on point, right? We talked about it being content first. It's all about, does it have the right vibe? Does it have the right capabilities? And it's built from the ground up with AI-driven and machine learning models that are focused and customized to your needs. That's the point, right? We want to make sure that the team is spending all of their time not on kind of manual, time-consuming tasks and filters, but getting right to the points that add value. Are they on point? Are they brand safe? Is the content correct for us? And all of this, again, making sure that those creators are brand safe, that they are, you're looking at enough of that history, et cetera, to make sure that you're not working with anyone that might be problematic. So continuing down that path, we've got all of this, content, and we need to make sure that this community is effective and that we're tracking all this content correctly. So we just talked about all of this content is growing massively. How do I wade through it, right? Yes, you can continue to use keywords and things to find, but wouldn't it be awesome if I could just find all of the content that's about my brand automatically and just see it straight away? That's what I can do in CreatorIQ. I can see, and my team can see, all of the content that's relevant to my brand automatically as soon as I log in. I know what creators are talking about, I know how they're talking about me, and I know what kind of performance that's driving. And it's not just about measuring the value at the individual content level or a campaign level. I want to look at it at the community level. Is my community healthy? Where do I need to focus my attention? Where do I need to invest? And where do I need to diversify? And all of this has to be able to be distributed and shared across your organization. So again, permissions, scalability, all of that is in place, and a flexible API that means that I can use this data however I see fit within my organization. Then continuing down that path, right? We just talked about all of this content is continuing to grow. It's massive amounts of the creators that we're working with, lots of diversity in there. How do I keep track of it all? How do I make sure that I'm getting all of the right level of insights here from this content? So our focus here is to make sure that my team is looking further than just those initial metrics, right? Going beyond the caption. And with CreatorIQ, I can look at the different levels of analysis of that content, the audio, the imagery in the content, the transcript of that content, all of those information that carries so much of this rich insight, and make sure that I can leverage it in multiple ways to understand who's talking about me. Is there anything potentially brand unsafe there? And I can also make sure it's tuned to my needs. It is constantly learning from the selections that we're making, the creators that we're working with, to continuously get better, not just in general, but specifically for my brand and for my team. This makes sure that what used to be a very, very time-consuming and frankly expensive task for my team just to have to go through all of this becomes almost scientific, right? That is what we mean by making sure that we're not just operating faster, but making sure we're doing it in a smart way. And then when we talk about scale, I talked earlier, I need to make sure that my team is working effectively, that the standards are in place, that all of this content is reaching the right places, not just within my creator marketing team, but my paid media teams are looking for this content. My website teams are looking to repurpose this content because we know creator content works better. So how do I scale from the hundreds of creators that I work with today to the thousands that I need to work from a few months from now? How do I scale all of this content from the tens of thousands of pieces to the millions of pieces of content that are coming in and know what to focus on? My CMO just announced to the whole company that we want to make sure that this is being worked across 12 different brands, that all 5 markets are covered with standardized approach to creator marketing with 500 plus users. That seems almost unsurmountable today, but CreatorIQ is ready for that kind of scale. And all of this is done in a way that my teams can keep that people-to-people world that creator marketing is really all about. They can operate with transparency and clarity, but with independence, where they're not caught up in kind of global complexity or challenges and bureaucracy that comes in. But my team and I have full visibility around what's going on. That's what it means to have a truly scalable platform. So when we're talking about this, I hope that what I'm talking about resonates with you and resonates with what we're building. And I can't wait to show you what we're doing right in the product lab outside. My team is there. You can see all of the new capabilities that are coming and experience this for yourself. So I'm really excited to show you everything that we're doing. Back to you, Chris.
All right. There's a saying that says if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And as I get to spend time with people like Bhavin and the team at CreatorIQ, and one could argue this very room, I'm always in the right room, which is amazing. So a quick summary of kind of what we've covered today, really quick, right? Common pursuit of closer connection between brands and consumers continues to be our goal. That authentic connection is the atomic unit of brand growth. The future is going to be content first and creator-led, and CreatorIQ is doing all that we can to build that next generation platform. So again, my question to you that I began my conversation with, where will your brand be in 10 years? While you're here today, spend time thinking about that. Now, as I said, I wanted to do my own Ellen moment here, so I'm going to do a selfie. Can we bring the house lights up really quick? And it's just going to be my big head, if I'm being honest, but it's okay. And we're going to bring in a proper photographer to capture it effectively, but because I can't do it. All right, let's see here. It's a lot of people. Okay, can everyone stand up? Would you mind? Is that possible? Okay. I'm going to probably have to have someone else do this one. Oh. All right. Get in here, Bhavin. Okay. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Woo! All right, now we'll do some proper with the photographer. So, do one more pose, guys. Come on in here.
All right, should we all woo?
Yay!
Woo!
Yay! Woo! All right. Thank you. So, as I wrap up my comments today, I want to thank you. I want to thank first our marketing team for pulling this all together. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that. The production team in the back, you can't see back there, but there's a whole city back there of them moving people around, fixing my hair, getting the mic just right, tucking my shirt in, and all the content amazing. I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank our platform partners, our agency partners, all of our clients. I want to thank the employees at CreatorIQ. And for those that are here considering and in the process of looking at becoming a CreatorIQ customer, we thank you for your consideration. We hope that you will be able to spend time in all the events today, but mostly spend time with other customers that are currently on the platform. You will learn so much from being able to have those interactions. We thank you for your consideration. Thank you for your time. I look forward to meeting as many of you as we can today. And with that, I'll bid adieu. Thank you so much.